Welcome to Inside the Upside Down, where tonight we're going to be reviewing Haunted Road Media's Haunted 2018, our last episode of the year. All right, welcome to Inside the Upside Down. I'm Mike Ricksecker, author and ghostorian. With me, as always, is Shana, our chat Shananigator from Edge of the Rabbit Hole, where we just wrapped up Edge of the Rabbit Hole for 2018, and now we're wrapping up Inside the Upside Down. We'll be back January 8th, 2019. I'm not sure what the Inside the Upside Down topic is going to be, but our Edge of the Rabbit Hole episode will be Andrea Perrin, and yeah, so what we're doing tonight for this episode is basically kind of reviewing our 2018 and the different investigations we did, our research projects, our investigations, just a lot of different stuff that we did throughout the year. Different experiences that we had, people we met, places we went, all that kind of stuff. We will be having a video just before the new year with all of like the little clips and highlights, kind of a highlight reel episode, the whole like 2018 rewind thing. So we'll do some of that, but I thought we could sit down tonight, go over a couple of clips, some different photos, and just kind of chat and have a little commentary on the way 2018 has gone. So this episode is brought to you by Haunted Road Roast. It helps you hunt ghosts. And I don't know if you guys noticed it I forgot to say something during Edge of the Rabbit Hole. Ichabod Cranium back here, I had him set up on the side, basically where Shana is with the microphone in front of him. He never commented on anything, though. Well, poor guys. And, of course, we have Ghosty down here. So, any of that, all of our links for the Patreon, the merch, the T-shirts, there we go, Haunted Road Media T-shirt, the ghosties, all that stuff is right down there in the description. So I usually fail to mention all that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, all that stuff, Here's how to order. So, all right, so 2018, Shana, I think we had a pretty active year.
It was full. I mean, there was a lot going on. Last year was really eventful, and it seemed like this year things just kind of kept, had that, what's next vibe.
It kept escalating. I remember last year saying that I'd done so much traveling, done so many events and all that stuff that I was going to cut back for 2018, and instead I did more. I mean, there was a point in there where it was like, six straight weeks of traveling to somewhere, capped off by the longest trip, which was out to Ferry Plantation. Moved in there, out to here. So that was a big deal, is getting this studio set up, which is still in transition. We have a lot of plans for this place.
Yeah, probably by the time we leave this house, the studio will be just the way we want it.
Yeah, probably, because we've got about a year and a half left here. Yeah, it'll get to like that week before we move again. I'll be like, oh, now it's all perfect. Okay, take it away. Like Brewster's Millions, where they finally get to the room that he could die in. And she's like, oh, okay, finally he's got the room he can die in. Okay, boys, take it all away. In any case, yeah, so the year started off, our first big thing that we did in 2018 was the Beardstown investigation. So cold January night. It was a little chilly in there. We had to wear coats. Yeah. But a good investigation. And that's where I have the clip here for the laugh. So we got that's not the laugh. No. This is the laugh.
There's somebody human in here. You don't have permission, so you need to get lost.
So that's the laugh. We'll get to the other photo is Shana and Molly and all that stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's what that person actually sounds like, or, I have no idea. All I know is that was the creepiest laugh I've heard on an EVP yet to date.
Yeah, that was like your classic, almost like movie type.
Yeah.
Your sinister laugh.
Yeah, I was like,
it's awesome.
Ew. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. It was a good investigation, though. You know, it was one of those where, I mean, really, we got frustrated during the investigation, and because we'd gone up there. It's what, a couple hours from here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a great historic building. You know, you've got all this wonderful architecture there that they've been renovating, that they've had to uncover because they stopped actually using it as a running theater, as a running opera house in the 1890s.
Yeah.
So like 120 years ago, they stopped using it. And they basically sectioned the place off for use for different businesses, even like they put a wall up in front of the stage and just all of this stuff so that they could parcel out this building, you know, but they still retained some of it. Like she talked about how, I forget her name, but she was brought up there when she was a little girl. She kind of peeked through the wall and could see the old canvas back there with the painting and everything. So then that canvas is still there, over 100 years old. So I think they're doing a good job of trying to restore it, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a frustrating investigation because of all the noise around.
Yeah, it was one of those places where there was a lot of outside interference. It was loud. It was a weekend in Beardstown, and it sounded like they were having a drag race / party, you know, nearby, just right below us.
Yeah, there was
really.
a bar nearby, and the train was crazy.
You know, there were noises inside that we had to debunk that were coming pretty much like clockwork. You know, and it was just like, well, there's that. Well, for audio, there's someone acting like a fool outside.
There's the elevator again.
Elevator. It was just, we were tagging more than anything
Yeah.
else. And it had gotten so frustrating.
Yes, we wrapped it up. And when we investigate, you know, we make sure to tag everything. So that's basically, you know, we have our audio recorders going, we have the cameras going. And so anytime that we hear laughter down on the street, or the elevator is going off, or the train's going off, or like, oh, there's the train, there's the elevator. So it got into a routine like that: train, elevator, outside, train, elevator, outside. You know, so we tag everything. But as we're going through the evidence and we're listening to it all, it's like, where is this other stuff coming from?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of hard to get into the moment there because there were so many things going on that you had to tag that it was totally distracting.
Yeah.
Everything. So, but then, you know, still held on to that hope that the audio would not disappoint, because even when you think there's nothing going on, there usually is.
Yep. Judy Wilson says, love the laugh. Sharon Lane says, I subscribed last spring. Sorry, I missed so much before that. Well, we're glad to have you aboard now, Sharon, for sure.
Binge watch.
Yeah. Well, she does too.
Yes.
She binge watches a lot, and she's always leaving comments like, oh, I'm binge watching this and I'm binge watching that. And yeah, it's just pretty cool. People are saying they need the coffee. Yeah, it's good stuff. So, yeah, we appreciate all that, guys. Yeah, so that was what kicked off our year, was Beardstown. And now, one of those investigations that, while we thought it was going to be a disappointment at the beginning, I mean, always great to get into an old building, and we're always happy with that. But we didn't think it was going to be much of a video, much of a investigation, because we want you guys to enjoy it. And we know that there have been some out there where it doesn't really seem like much is going on, and you know, but honestly, it's our most boring paranormal investigation video is actually our highest watched paranormal investigation video. Just weird. And that's the one from Moberly that we did a couple years ago. So it's funny the way that works. And so we're thinking, well, you know, maybe we'll still get a lot of views, even though it's going to be, you know, it's not much going to be happening in this video. But sure enough, there's actually a lot that happened in it. And so, and I know a lot of you enjoyed that. So, which is what matters. Okay, what else did we have in here? What do you want to say?
We do not have a Shananigator in the chat room.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Donna is not feeling well tonight, so Donna is not down there tonight.
So if you have a question, or a comment that you want to be voiced aloud, put it in all caps.
Yeah, so we do hope and send love and light to Donna. Hope that she is feeling better. She was experiencing some flu-like symptoms. So, and we want to put that out for anybody that, and if you ever have like a request or anything like that, if somebody's not doing so well or what have you, we're always up for saying, hey, love and light out to this person, and whatever the particular request may be, we're definitely all about that. And so, Rita.
Yeah, my partner in crime for cafe videos, she is in the hospital right now and in very critical condition. So, it's definitely trying to keep as much positive thoughts as possible. But I mean, it is what it is. So, going to see her tomorrow, and so send it this way so I can take it to her.
Yeah.
Because I told her she was laying in the bed. She can't talk or anything right now. She's able to blink or nod or squeeze your hand. That's about all she has the strength to do. So, I told her, I was like, you can't leave, yet. We have a book about the cafe to write. There's people that want a part 2, for cafe night on the show. You cannot leave without that.
Yeah, so, especially since we were experiencing all of our crazy Skype issues at that point in time, and I think we had to reconnect on that episode about 3 different times.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a discombobulated episode, and it was an episode that people really wanted. And we finally had it, and it was all over the place because of technical difficulties. So it was like, yeah, we definitely have to have Rita back. We have to have, a better show. Now that we're using Zoom instead of Skype, it's much better now. So
screw you, Skype.
Yeah. So, but more than that, she's just, she's a sweet woman, and we'd like to be able to visit her, for a while yet. Here on this plane of existence.
Been a very good friend of mine, almost like family, for 11 years now. So, yeah. So, in any, positive vibes or prayers or what have you that you guys can put out there, that would be fantastic. So, Judy Wilson asked Mike, what makes you decide on a place to check out? There's a lot of different things. Sometimes it's just we want a new place to check out. So you came across Beardstown through a friend of yours, which was very cool. Yeah, that would have been Lauren Hamilton, who is affiliated with the James Eldred House in Eldred, Illinois, which is a beautiful place that they've done a lot too. It's one of those, venue success stories where it's about to fall into the ground and on itself. It's not safe to be walking around in.
Literally, there are floors that were out.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw it, it was dangerous. It was almost condemned. It was in danger of that. And then all of the investigations and donation, every single bit of that money didn't go into somebody else's pocket like some of these other places. Anyway, but instead it went all directly back into the venue.
Yeah.
And sometimes they paid out of pocket if they needed to. And now, the place is wonderful.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a lot better.
Really,
There's still some work to do, but they've done a really good job of bringing it up to speed. So
it's a safe structure.
Yeah.
To be in now. Like you can have many people in a room and stuff like that. It's much better if you're in the area, or if you want to travel to the area. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. Dustin is asking if we're moving up north. Well, we're not moving for another year and a half, and we have no idea yet where we're going to be moving. So,
I assume I'm going to be working in the same place that I'm working at. Jake, if you're watching, I'm going to be with you forever and ever, so get used to it.
Well,
oh, God.
Nice.
This mic. Oh.
Yeah, the pop filter keeps falling off of that one.
Yeah.
Well, in a year and a half from now, I expect Haunted Road Media is going to be huge, and so we're going to move wherever we want.
Well, you can go where you want to, but I'm stuck in Illinois. It is what it is. Can't say I'm crazy about it,
Right.
but
All right, so let's see what else we had here. So, well, let's talk about one that we just recently did.
it's okay.
So that's the, it's fine. You're
It's
good.
sitting on there.
Yeah, you're
now.
good.
Okay.
You're good. So the YMCA building. So we're jumping from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This was the investigation video that we just posted, this past Friday?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was an interesting place. It wasn't one of those. I guess I went to this one next because it kind of contrasts with Beardstown, where Beardstown, there was a lot that we actually got, a lot of EVPs, a lot of voices, there were even some light anomalies and things like that we got within the video. And this one was more subtle. There was definitely activity going on. And I think maybe a lot of it was residual, especially down in that pool area. If you guys remember those
That was interesting.
Yeah, those that watched the video, you may recall how we were down that hallway, and back in the day when it was a running YMCA, that was the actual swimming pool where there was a little boy who drowned in there decades ago. Not sure if that's who we had connected with, but there was like all kinds of tapping. You were getting like a burning sensation in your eyes, so it was like, okay, could that be chlorine, in the eyes, like a pool? We don't know.
Yeah, I initially just blew it off because I'm like, well, it seems obvious that that's what it should be, but let's not be, obvious about it. Let's blow it off and see what happens, because it sounds too easy, to diagnose. And so I blew it off, but then it kept happening, and it didn't happen the first couple passes through there. It was just like, oh, well, that's cool. This used to be the pool area. I really didn't feel that. It wasn't until after just really standing in there and just soaking it in, and I was like, wow, why do my eyes burn so bad? And then whatever it was that come up and knocked the light out of my hand, I was like, excuse me. And you're like, hello? Like, I didn't do that.
That was like boom on the ground. That was during the live stream. So that was during the first video that we posted when we actually went live at the beginning of November, was when that got knocked out of your hand. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't do that.
Yeah. So, interesting energy there. It's one that we definitely want to get back to. We want to explore more. It could be one of those where you kind of have to warm up to the spirits. We've talked a lot about that on this show, where, you might have to go back to a place numerous times before the spirits there are like, oh, hey, yeah, it's Mike and Shana. We know who they are, and become more receptive to you. Or you go in, first time, they might be looking at you like, who are these jokers,
Mm-hmm. But the stuff that usually follows me,
you're seeing some twinkles there.
Too.
Yeah, you're seeing some twinkles, because we ended up following a twinkle in that upper part of the pool area. So the pool used to go from, I don't know if you want to say the basement area, but that lower level there, all the way up to the roof. And when, I don't know if it was U-Haul that cut that off, or when the furniture store went in, they basically made a whole level out of that. Yeah. So they extended I guess it would be technically the first floor, over the pool. And so it seems like both of those levels, where the actual pool rested, and then right straight above it, which used to just be open air and is now an actual floor, it seems like both of those are haunted with pool activity. So, and you when you first walked in, you were like, boom. It's like, wow. You walked right by that area, and you're like, hey, something's up.
Yeah, and this was before, which is always nice to have confirmation of something, before you know anything about it. Yeah. Where you walk by, you're like, wow, I'm drawn here, something happened here. They're like, oh yeah, well, this is where that used to be, or this is where this happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
Adam Tillery says that I said something about moving to Kansas.
Well,
Not sure when I said that.
I'm sure you guys will send me postcards and stuff.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't visit Kansas.
Oh, I'm all up for visiting Kansas. There's stuff to do there. I've been there before. Amy Bingenheimer says, that YMCA was creepier to me than Edinburgh Manor. I haven't been to Edinburgh yet. And the YMCA, I don't know. I mean, I got, as far as like creep factor, more up on the 4th floor than, say, down in that pool area. I don't know how you felt about that.
There wasn't really much.
Yeah. The 4th floor is that very top there.
Yeah, I didn't really get any creepy vibes. But if I had to pick from the last place we just looked at, definitely the freaking speakeasy, the bowels of
the bowels of that with
all
the
spiders.
Corpses. Actually, I think I have that photo here from the Beardstown spiders. There we go. Here we go. Boom!
Ew.
There's the spiders. There's all the spiders went Beardstown.
And they were everywhere like that. The place was just full of, looked like what someone just took this thing, this blower, and just blew in a bunch of cobwebs and dead, crusty spider corpses and stuff. It was terrible. I was so glad it was cold. Because if just
they weren't alive. It was January, so
if just one of those, if there would have been just one tiny movement, I would have made a new hole in the wall getting out of there. Because there was way too many spiders. It was out of like arachnophobia and some shit. Oh.
Yeah. And that's the actual Beardstown Opera House there. So very historic location. So we enjoyed that. But so there's a question here about the YMCA from Sharon Lane. She asked, Shana, did anything follow you from that investigation?
I don't think anything followed me from there, but I think something always follows me to and from everywhere I go now. So,
seen, or at least you have seen those twinkles on every investigation for a while now, or I want to say just about every investigation.
Yeah, and the little balls of light and this heat mirage thing.
That's a new one. Yeah,
that's been happening ever since. Molly.
We can go right into that. And bring that up. So that would be Mineral Springs, Molly. So this is back in September on a visit to Mineral Springs. So we had. Why is Zoom saying it's trying to connect? Why is Zoom connecting? Out of nowhere, Zoom decided to connect. Okay, stop that shit. That was weird.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they're saying that they temporarily lost the stream. I don't know what the heck happened. Yeah, okay. Apparently, they temporarily lost the stream for a second. We had Zoom just pop up out of nowhere. And so, okay. Sorry about that, guys. Not sure what happened, but it just Zoom kicked off and started to try to connect. I'm not sure why. All right. Weird stuff. So, another what we were saying here, the shimmer.
The
shimmer. So that was at Mineral Springs. Now we had the Haunted Road Media Paracon in June at Mineral Springs Hotel. And that's kind of where this story starts. Well, actually, I mean, it really starts like a couple years ago when we first started investigating there.
Yeah.
And that one room, we went over it quite extensively when we did the Scariest Places episode about a month ago or whatever. And we kind of showed how it all led up to when we were first walked into the room. We knew something was there. We could feel something there. To another time where we got your name as an EVP. Somebody seemed like a female said Shana.
And I thought it was Pearl that had just followed us.
Right.
I was like, because I didn't know anybody else.
Yeah, we knew the story of Pearl, and we knew that some people said there was a little girl in the other room, who we've come to find out is a little bit older of a girl. that doesn't like to be known as a little girl.
No.
But then we went back into that room another time, and we exited. We got the chair moving, and just recently going back over some of the footage, we caught, I forget what it was. We caught like another EVP in there somewhere that we hadn't previously. So that was, it's like increasing activity as we keep going in and out of this room, as we keep going back and visiting. Then we have the Haunted Media Paracon, and it was the last place that we visited that night. We had a smaller group of people, and you're sitting in the chair, and I'm sitting. I mean, basically, it's this setup right here, but I'm sitting where Zara the zombie doll is, and Shauna's
sitting there.
I don't think they can see your finger, though.
Yeah, they can see your finger,
they can't see your finger.
Yeah, but they're...
The chair closest to the camera that has the little handheld camera sitting on it and nobody sitting in, that's where Shana was sitting. Where Shauna's sitting in this photo, there was that girl, Brandy. Yeah, she was sitting there. So you're sitting in this chair, and you're sensing stuff. You're getting things.
Yeah, and I felt like just regular, like I usually feel stuff when something comes in a room. It's like that hello, here's somebody coming in. Who's this? Except for, and meanwhile it was hot upstairs. Like it was like uncomfortable hot, sweaty hot. And so that was, a little bit of a distraction. But I just like, oh, hello, someone's in here. I didn't know who it was at the time. And, there was I could hear some buzz. I could feel some buzzing, right? And then I could start to hear just like mumbling, like, so this is what it sounds like to me before something, someone speaks out in my head. It's like, it sounds like there's a party going on up there. Or like when you walk into a room and you hear all the low murmuring and stuff like that. And every once in a while I'll just kind of, tune in, I guess you could call it, and I hear the murmuring and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, something will stand out. And this time, I'm sitting there trying to not be distracted by the murmuring, and I'm trying to figure out who it was that just walked in the room. And I knew it wasn't Pearl, because I've gotten used to her energy. Now I can tell, when she's in the room, but I knew that this was something different, and I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. And, the letter M pops into my head, and I was like, well, does your name start with, M? And, energy to my right in the doorway got significantly stronger in the form of a good solid grab, on my arm. And I was like, whoa, and, then the murmuring, buzzing, all that still going on. And then the name Molly just goes through my head, just so strong. And so I asked, is your name Molly? And whammo. I mean, it was like a series of like hard grabs. I was like, whoa, hey, and I was like, is that your name? Is your name Molly? And it, like we were talking about the last show, it was like, maybe she didn't mean to grab me that hard, but maybe she had just, oh my God, yes, someone knows who I am. This girl knows who I am, please. And I mean, just
if you look at this setup, where she's sitting at and the doll is, or where she would have been sitting at in the empty chair there, and I was sitting in where the doll was at, that force was so strong, that she's nearly fallen out of her chair, and I got hit with that force, and I was knocked back in my chair. So it had that much of a range, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. I mean, and it took me a little bit to shake that off, I didn't know how to, I wasn't sure how to process. So at first I was kind of like, oh my God, did I get it right? Because I don't exactly have any control over it, You know, it just, whatever it is pops into my head and I go with it. You know, it doesn't matter how hard I focus. I never get it whenever I'm looking for it. You know, it just basically just, you know, happens. And that's how it happened.
So, by the way, while we've been talking about this and you've been telling the story, people have been seeing something over by you. So Bree Jones says, anybody else see a girl standing on Shauna's right side as we look at the screen? She's just about shoulder level for me. Amy Bingenheimer was saying, I see that light burst. Christine Jones says, I see that, but thought it was part of the picture. Says she's right behind Shauna's purse. Now, you don't have a purse here, so I'm not sure what she's referring to.
I mean, now there's like a thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is, well, there's this here. There's intentionally a shadow person right there. And there's a little bit of something here with the design work. So,
I mean, did somebody see a twinkle or a ball of light? Because that is pretty common. It usually doesn't get that close to where I can see it, like close.
Yeah. Dustin Samario is asking how many people died in the upper floor. One confirmed death that we know of, and that's Pearl. We know that she died in that corner room, that she actually took her own life there. And there is rumors of other stuff that happened up there and nothing confirmed. So we don't know. There's the possibility that there were other deaths up there, but like I said, nothing confirmed.
Yeah, so. Molly is not confirmed at this time. It's just me so far.
Oh, Bree is saying in the picture we showed, not in the studio. Okay, so let's bring this back up. Okay, so.
Are you talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a glare back there on the wall. She was also saying, no, she was saying by your purse. To our right, as we're looking at it, would be your left in the picture. So she's seeing a girl back there.
Matrixing in the bricks. I mean,
yeah,
because I can kind of see a little something right there, but
yeah, not sure.
I don't know.
Andrew Cox saying, I think it was tied with mobsters. Yeah, there's rumors about the mob there. You know, of course, this Mineral Springs was around during the Roaring 20s. And so there's a lot of speculation about mobsters and, you know, the speakeasies and just all that type of stuff, which you would have in a hotel during that era. So, yeah, so Bree is saying, yep, there you go. Okay, so I guess over there. All right. So we'll take a closer look at that. But there's another story associated with this photo, because this photo was actually taken not at that time in June, because that was at night during the Haunted Road Media Paracon that happened. This photo was taken in September, where you saw the shimmer and you started breaking down crying. I had all that crazy stuff going on with the with the K2. So
yeah. Every year, I guess, Mineral Springs has a create your own zombie doll event. And best idea ever. I loved it. But sometimes we have scheduled investigations at Zen or at Mineral Springs, and sometimes they just pop up, you know, during visits, and this was one of those times. We had just gotten done. I had just gotten done with the event, and then Mike showed up, and then they asked, "Hey, do you guys, you know, want to go to the pool or go upstairs?" And we're like, "Yeah,
like,
you
heck
know,
yeah, we're always up for that."
We always, you know, bring stuff with us because you never know, and we always have some type of, you know, recording equipment, and so yeah, let's go upstairs. And I took the doll, you know, and I had a moment of hesitation about bringing the doll upstairs just because it was a creepy little doll, and I didn't know if I was going to be, you know, traumatizing anybody, and I would have felt bad, right? So, but I took the doll up there anyway, and, you know, I'm glad I did, because I feel like, you know, Zara herself is not haunted. I don't know the history of the doll, but I believe she acted as a trigger object, and I believe that Molly may or may not have had a doll similar to, and maybe Zara without the scary face reminded her of that doll.
Yeah, So we have with us tonight, all the way from Mineral Springs Hotel, it's Zara the Zombie Doll.
Her paint job's holding up pretty well, too,
she's
now.
doing all right.
Yeah. Yeah, she's holding up pretty well.
Yeah, so it was, it was really interesting because, I was kind of oblivious what was happening to Shana at that time. We had established a baseline on the K2 meter, and it wasn't really doing anything. It was just staying there. It was at the, what was it, like three lights up on that. And then when this stuff started happening with Shana, like I said, I was kind of oblivious because I saw the K2 just suddenly drop all the way out, down to nothing. I'm like, what in the world is going on with this? And as I'm trying to, making these observations about, I'm looking around, okay, where the heck did the EM field go? I suddenly look up and there's Shana crying.
Yeah, it went to me, is what I think. And, I was asking Molly if she could see the doll, And then, in between myself and the chair where Zara was sitting, I could see the heat mirage, the smoky, shimmery, thing that happens when, near a fire or something like that. And it was in no way hot up there. So there was nothing that was giving off that kind of heat. And this was the first time I had ever seen anything like this. So I was really kind of surprised. And I was like, I'm trying to describe this, what this looks like. And, then I'm wondering, thinking to myself, maybe, is that Molly standing there? And then that's just how I'm seeing her. And I said, Molly, do you like dolls? And then boom. And that's when it happened. It was just all of a sudden, I personally had no reason to be sad. It was just a normal day for me. I wasn't sad going into it, so I had no reason to be sad during. All I knew is that I was just
boom. She was suddenly crying.
I was just very, very sad. So sad. And I was like, I don't know, And then, it lasted for a little longer than most episodes do, and then it was just gone. So...
Yeah. So we have that moment captured on, there's the Zara the Zombie Doll Friday Night Ghost Frights episode, and then there's the Mineral Springs, essentially it's Ghosts and Legends episode, part of that whole series, although I didn't really distinguish it as that when I created the video, but it's essentially a compilation video of many of our investigations at Mineral Springs. What did I call that? It was a Haunted Mineral Springs. It's a red thumbnail from back in September, beginning of October, something like that. So Amy was saying that the window had a beautiful light burst. So there is all that light coming through the window. It's a nice photo. I liked it, and I like how it made your hair look all red. So. Judy Wilson says, I think Molly didn't like the doll. It made her upset, so you felt her being upset. I don't know. I think Molly was upset for a number of reasons, maybe. She seems to have a lot of history with that room.
Yeah.
What type of upset did you feel?
I've since taken the doll. We've had her back in there. We've taken her back in there. We haven't had any, I haven't felt anything, telling me that I shouldn't bring her back. Like I said, I did question bringing her in there to begin with because she does look kind of creepy, but I don't feel like Molly is young. I feel like Molly is a little older. Younger than us, but
and even with me, where I'm not as sensitive as you are, I've always felt or sensed or whatever that she's probably in her 20s, a little bit of an older young lady.
Yeah,
she could still be our kid,
I feel like,
but the young one would be the one down the hall, kind of like when you first walk in up there. That's in that room off to the left.
Yeah.
But everybody treats her like a little girl when she's more like 11, 12, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So that was Mineral Springs. So, we didn't investigate Mineral Springs as much this past year as we did like the year before. But I think our couple of investigations of it were pretty fruitful this year. So and a lot more to really kind of take in. And like I said, the fact that we're able to take these different investigations over the past couple of years, and now like the two main investigations that we had this year at Mineral Springs each had something more significant each time in that room. When we talk about building a rapport with spirits, so that the spirits, when you're investigating, become more comfortable with you. The more and more that you go back, I think this is a prime example of how there was a little bit there when we first went, and it's just successively become more.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. Because the last time I was in there, before it was just walked in and just like, well, I don't know, looking around. And now whenever I walk in, it's just like, hey, how's it going? Here I am. Whenever I walk away, I'm always, compelled to walk right back. Like I feel like, no, it's not time to go yet, and not that anything's going to happen, but just, I feel something drawing me back, and I feel like, I feel like that would be her.
So next year's Haunted Road Media Paracon, just throw this out there real quick since we were talking about the Haunted Road Media Paracon. Next year's Haunted Road Media Paracon is going to be June 1, same venue at the Mineral Springs Hotel. So we'll start putting out some more information about that as the new year rolls around. I mean, we have the official date. We do know a lot of people who are going to be there, but we haven't put together any banners or anything like that yet. But I guess we have kind of quasi-officially announced that June 1 is the next Haunted Road Media Paracon. So hope to see you all there.
Yes.
All right. So another one that I put together here real quick for us, because it's another project that we've started this year. And that's the Lost Cemetery Project. Let me try to close out this stuff back behind. There we go. So we did the Lost Cemeteries episode here a few weeks back. We had the video that we put out about lost cemeteries, and so this is a new project here that we started. I mean, we've always done cemetery crawls, and what have you, and kind of showed off the great sculptures and monuments and masonry work, and we've had some paranormal experiences at cemeteries, and we've shared a number of those different things. But this is a little bit of a different project. We did have the one last year, Schumann, that you could definitely say is a lost cemetery because of how overgrown it is. But once we became friends with Carol Singer, and we got a nice list of different cemeteries around the county that are essentially abandoned. And this would be, what county is that down? Jersey County. Jersey County. We just started hunting these things down, and kind of make people aware, hey, there are these cemeteries there that are lost, these people that are forgotten, and so we're going around trying to revisit them. Now, I don't know if us going to visit them will create enough awareness that people will take an interest in doing something about it, but long-term hope is that it will.
Right, because some of those cemeteries are, they're so beautiful. Some of them are. You wouldn't, you think, well, there's this stuff is broken. There's, nature covering this one, and then the one picture just shows there's a tree laying over that one.
Yeah.
But
crash right on top of it.
But some of those stones, though, they're so well crafted, and from like the 1840s, you wouldn't expect, it to be as still well preserved like it is. But
those, because like the other one that we went to, Armstrong, there was like one stone still standing.
Right.
You know, the others were kind of just laying on the ground. But Belt Salem, I mean, some of those are still big and real nice. I mean, the one was from 1840.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was still beautifully kept.
Yeah, it was, and there was a pretty peaceful vibe in there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to feel quite as energetic or active as some, because it's one of those that's been forgotten. You know, so then someone comes in there and they're like, you know, whoever is there, whatever energy is there, is like, oh, hey, what's this? Who's this?
Yeah, and I don't expect a lot of spirits to be hanging out there, you know, because we kind of take the stance that cemeteries aren't natively haunted anyways, that basically when you go there, I mean, you kind of end up attracting something in there when you go to visit. Or, you know, maybe somebody else is in the cemetery visiting, and somebody, you know, maybe a relative or whatever is coming to visit them as well. So, you know, it's not like the spirits are just hanging around the cemetery, sitting on a tree branch waiting for somebody to come. So this cemetery having been abandoned for, you know, decades, I guess, you know, spirits aren't necessarily going to be hanging out around there. Now, if we kept going back, maybe something would start, you know, coming out to visit a little bit more often and be like, hey, these two keep coming out here. But
and there was
it was
the
really
one.
quiet.
There was the one stone there, the little girl.
That seemed to call out to you, yeah. Matilda.
Yeah, and in fact, you know, I kept, you know, kind of lingering around there, and then as we were leaving, I kept turning around, and then I don't know if it was before that or during the car trip away from there is when I get this visual of this little girl. I think it was
just when we started driving away.
Yeah, in my head, and I'm sitting here saying, you know, to me, it seemed like I was like mumbling. I was like, you know, it's this, you know, she has like curly hair. She's like blonde hair, like, you know, not really long, not really thick, but just, you know, like these little chubby, you know, cheeks or whatever. And I was trying to think of, you know, a child that I've seen, you know, in like commercials or on, you know, in videos or wherever I might have seen, trying to describe her. But I have no idea. You know, all I know is that this is this little girl's face, you know, and I was so drawn to her gravesite that I have to wonder if whoever, you know, wants me to know, yeah, this is her and this is what she looks like, whoever wants me to know that, you know, that's why that was there.
So Kelly McCarville says, sign her up for the Haunted Road Media Paracon. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Better.
And, yeah. And Greg, no, it wasn't Greg. It was the Haglin says, absolutely love the Lost Cemetery series you're doing. Can't wait for more. Yeah, we can't wait to get out there. It's a little cold right now. So that was actually a warmer weekend when we did that.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, whenever we were posting stuff like that on my page, there were some people coming out of the woodwork that, you know, may very well be new subscribers, but people I have like the paranormal world, and then I have like the music, the bands, the, you know, world, and sometimes they mix, you know, and in this case, you know, they did. The one guy's like, hey, I really like this, you know, and
well, I got to follow up with that one guy. He was telling us about some lost cemeteries down there in Alton, and he contacted us, and I need to email him back. Be like, yeah, we'd like to do that. Just we need to find a warm weekend, because I'm not going to want to go trudging around out there when it's like 20 degrees and windy, and it's kind of one of the lousy things about you know, this time of year is that we can't get out and do a number of those different things that we regularly would. So yes, we've started the Lost Cemetery series, but it's one of those that's going to take us a little time to get some more episodes out there. You know, one of the things that we've kind of hinted at and talked about for a while is a series that we started with Alton, the Alton Ghost Stories. And so we have the Friday Night Ghost Frights that we've been doing now for a couple of years, I guess. We had a couple of episodes earlier in the year where we were reading some different ghost stories from Alton that Shana had discovered when we were doing some research. and they're old ghost stories from like the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's where we found the woman in black story that we followed up on a couple of times. And so it's really interesting to see how they would make it news. You know, somebody had reported a sighting, or this supernatural activity happened to this person, or what have you. Some of the language was kind of funny. Instead of saying like his lordship, they were saying his ghost ship, stuff like that. So it's really interesting. And it's also ironic because Michelle Hamilton has done a project similar to this now with a book that we're publishing through Haunted Road Media, where she found all these ghost stories from around the Civil War, like specifically Civil War time frame, from all over. And we had discovered all these about Alton from basically after the Civil War till the early 1900s. And so we've kind of been hinting at this series of videos that we're going to be doing. It's taken a long time to kind of produce and put together. There's a lot of stuff that we did early on, and just kind of the summer got to us, and between the move and all the events and just kind of the regular schedule, it was kind of slow moving getting put together. And but we will have the first one of that out here very soon at the beginning of the year. I'm going to be working on it over the holiday season. So it's one of those things that throughout this year I've kind of hinted at and talked about and all of that, but we won't actually see it until the very beginning of 2019. So, but it's really interesting because, we talk about the research aspect of what we do, and it's really so very important because, it got us those stories. But then in doing the research for some of those stories, we found how, too, they were going to be separate, just like separate episodes, but they became linked together. And it's so really freaking weird. Doing research for one, okay, let's do some research on it. Because what I was going to do, trying to lump some of these, okay, well, we're going to make a trip down to Alton, let's get some footage over here, we'll get some footage over there for that episode, and kind of like do, film for multiple episodes at the same time so that we have the footage, so we're not always having to go back and go back and go back, because it's about 45 minutes for us to get down there. And so, we already knew the first one that we were doing, so we did a lot on that. And then as we're kind of gearing up for, we're going to do some additional filming for the first episode, which we had to do a couple times because I kept screwing up on different technical issues. I forgot the battery here, and that didn't work there, or whatever it was. So we had to go back and redo stuff. And so it was like, okay, so I'm going to start looking into the second episode, see what we need to do there for filming and get things together. And as I'm going down that rabbit hole, I'm like, wait a second. This first one and this second one are actually linked at this one location. So now we're just combining that together. It was just very, very cool. So
research.
Yeah, research.
Some people may be like, oh, research is like studying, and studying is school, and I hate school. But I'm sorry, that's like some of the, the investigations are exciting. It is, because there's always that, there's always that chance, that you're going to really like have some really cool interaction or make some really good contact. But researching these spirits and these venues, and going through, try to, dissect each aspect of not only the venue's life, but the spirits that were, that may or may not be attached to it. And then go back as far as you can with these people, even if it takes you back beyond the venue that you found them in, and then learn more about them. Because if you go to them the next time that you see them and you're armed with more knowledge about them, you will be surprised at the connection that you make and the activity that you get because of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it happens. Some people say, well, you can't say that something happens at every investigation. I can. I can honestly say that. I have some type of interaction in some form every time I step foot into somewhere. I can honestly say that this year.
This year.
Okay. It's different. There would be sometimes I'm like, I'm not feeling it. here, not feeling it, let's go somewhere else. Or, audio, there may be something, but not anything that I can really, consider a solid connection, to me personally. But this year has been full of a lot of that. And, is it me? I don't know. But I think that I am open to the educational part of this field, the research part of this field. I don't just want to know about the venue. I want to know about everybody that has stepped foot in that venue, that is connected to it, that is no longer amongst the living. I want to know what happened to them while they were in there. Even just the smallest thing. I don't even care,
Well, you're uncovering a mystery.
Right.
It's a big part of what we're doing is we're uncovering a mystery. A lot of these people's lives have been lost, forgotten, what have you, and they're lingering about, for a variety of different reasons. We kind of talked about that a little bit on Edge of the Rabbit Hole earlier this evening, talking about the afterlife. And so there might be like a message that they want to deliver, or somebody that they want to reach out to, maybe try to clear up some sort of tragedy that happened and get the right story out there, whatever it is. And so, how do you even know who they are to begin with if you're not doing some sort of research? I mean, you might get a name over, an EVP or something like that, but if you've already taken the steps ahead of time to do the research and going there armed with that information, then you're already that many steps ahead as you start to get into these conversations with the spirits. So, there's a lot of different reasons for doing the research, and there's things that we uncover that as we go along that are just, amazing bits of information, whether you're looking at a historic map or, finding an old newspaper article and discovering, oh, this is the way this really was. That's the way it really happened. Or, oh, there was a road that used to go through here that nobody remembers, or, whatever the heck it is.
Right. And that road, then let's say you find this road that's not really a road anymore. So then you research that road, and then it, you might get a name, and oh, who's this person? Oh, okay. It's just about, connecting the dots, looking at the bigger picture. It's like taking a drone up and seeing the bigger picture, because, a lot of this stuff is linked.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what we're discovering as we do this research, how much, these different things are linked. So, so Sharon Lane is wanting to know if you keep a written journal of your visits.
No, I do not. And let me tell you, I wish that I had kept from day one, when I first started have stuff happening to me. I wish I would have a series by now if I had done that. I had already written a book by now.
Probably.
I could have just put it all together and be like, here's this big stack, this is what I got. I eventually will do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to remember every single incident that's ever happened to me, but
start jotting it down.
Yeah.
Just start jotting it down.
There's so much, but yeah, I wish. I have some stories. They're in the books.
They're in the books.
They're in the encounters books.
Yes.
Some of the more significant things that have happened to me.
The Haglin is saying the time you guys have put into research is much appreciated and makes for a great tale. Yeah, and the books, Encounters with the Paranormal, Volume 4, that came out back in October. As far as things that have happened, Haunted 2018. The year saw a lot of books come out from Haunted Road Media. So we had Katie Hopkins' book come out. Of course, we had the Encounters book. We had Marla Brooks just came out with a book, the Soul Connection. We had Lee Early come out with his Santa Meets the Headless Horseman book. So a lot of books have been coming out this year. Michelle Hamilton's book will probably not make it out this year. We'll probably have to wait to the beginning of the year. Is that you having issues? 'Cause you're going to be making some sound with that. Just leave it. I'm just gonna have to replace the screw over there. It's all right. yeah, so yeah, that's another great thing. We had William Stillman came out with the book Conversations with Dogs. It was actually a second edition with us. So we've had a nice amount of growth with the books here with Haunted Road Media. And 2019 is looking to have more that come out. Katie Hopkins is coming out with another book through us. Vanessa's going to be putting out another one. Dan Norvell's coming out with one through us. I'm going to be publishing my own.
I'm going to start.
The Shadow Person book.
It's going to happen.
Shauna's going to start.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'd like to do it before. I'd like to have it done before the end of 2019.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
I'm actually looking to write 2 books this year, at least publish one this year, the Shadow Person book, and I have plans for a fiction book actually that I'm writing. And it's not one of my Chase Michael DeBarlo books, even though I have a half-written Chase DeBarlo 3 that's been sitting there forever. But no, it's a different one that just kind of came into my head. That thing's really cool. So so be on the lookout 2019 for a bunch more books from Haunted Road Media. But I was really happy with how we were able to grow on the literary side as well. So it's been great. I think Adam Tiller, who's lurking out there, is been working on his new book too. So if that's 2019, that would be awesome. So all right. So they're all in there talking about a Quad City shuttle bus and all this stuff to go to the Paracon in this coming year. So if you guys can all carpool or do whatever to come on down to Alton for the Haunted Road Media Paracon in June, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I promise it'll be a good time.
Oh, we had such a blast last year.
It was great.
Back in June. It's not last year yet.
I'm gonna need the whole weekend off, Jake Medford.
Yeah, Jake was out there earlier.
Yeah, he was out there.
Tom McNicholas, is there going to be another Encounters book for 2019? Shauna's looking at me because I threw out there that I might skip 2019 for the Encounters book because I really, 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 really need to freaking get the Shadow Person book out there. There has not been a book just from Mike Ricksecker for a few years now. It's been Encounters books.
So if someone else were to edit all of the stories for that book,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for sure. So, well, we're looking at kind of expanding the literary side. So to get like an official editor, and there's some different people that I've been talking to. Because that is a lot of work for me. It's a lot of work.
I feel like I should take on more of the edit. I can edit.
I don't know.
But I work full time,
right,
outside of the house, and then I gotta sleep sometime. I mean, I can't do the 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night like you do.
Yeah,
I stand up for my job,
crazy.
Y'all. I have to stand up for my job. I cannot. I have to be more active than that. So,
Christine Jones is asking the state of the Paracon. Okay, so the Paracon is happening in Alton, Illinois, at the Mineral Springs Hotel. So basically, the place here where, not there, there. So this is above the area where the Paracon's being held. I don't know if I actually have a Mineral Springs. Oh, Mineral Springs from the air. There we go. So that is the venue of the Paracon. So you can basically see the Mississippi River right there, the Clark Bridge.
And that building has 5 levels.
Yeah. You can't tell from there. If you look at the very back corner, you can kind of see how far down it goes, and then there's another level under that. But yeah, it's 5 levels. It's a great venue, and the grand ballroom where we hold the Paracon has a view of the Mississippi River, which is wonderful.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue.
Tim Shona is saying if Shauna finishes her book then he will buy it.
You better.
Tim Schoen has a pretty extensive Haunted Road Media library going.
He has a better Haunted Road Media library than I do.
Bree Jones says, I can't see Mike handing over editing duties anytime in the near future. You know, I had, let's see, Donna Gordon helped edit the Last Encounters book. She did a couple stories for that. Shana did a couple stories for this Encounters book. I can now say that Rob Guttrell's helped edit this Encounters book.
We love Rob.
I love Rob. He
Rob
sends
will
me
be
an
there.
edited copy of the Encounters book, and I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yeah, 'cause there are so many things that I missed, you know, like little typos and crap. And I'm like, man. No, we love Rob, so we appreciate that, Rob.
Rob will be at the Paracon also.
Rob will be at the Paracon too. Yep. So, Sharon Lane, when is the next scheduled Tuesday night show after the holidays? That will be January 8th. So, yeah, next week is Christmas Day. The week after that is New Year's Day. So, it will be January 8th. Andrea Perrin will be our guest for Edge of the Rabbit Hole, and I don't know what topic yet we're going to do for Inside the Upside Down. We've got a couple weeks to figure that one out. So, Sharon Lane again. What's your paranormal bucket list? Would you ever host haunted history tours?
You know, it's funny.
You've wanted to do some of that.
It's funny because I would love to do that. And I would love to do that locally. And I would like to visit some of the spots that we love, but I would like to shake things up a bit and maybe visit some new spots. Maybe give some tours to some new spots, not the same ones all the time. You know, I think there's more than just the usual spots. I think that they need to have some attention too. You know, so yeah, I would love to do Haunted Road Media tours. But from what I understand, that kind of thing takes, you know...
It's a lot of organization.
A lot of organization, a lot of effort, a lot of hoops to jump through with, you know, insurance like issues and liability for some of these places and, you know, stuff like that.
Adam Tillery says he hopes to have the tombstone completed before the Paracon. All right. All right. Sounds great. Hope to see that, Adam. And if you don't already have it, I know Tim Schoen just got it. Mischievous from Adam Tillery. Great book. So it's kind of half and half. Has his half the book's like his experiences in the paranormal field, and then the other half are like ghost stories and stuff. So it's pretty cool. He's a fantastic artist.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait to... You don't see the pictures right now, but whenever the studio is...
No, they're still in the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Judy Wilson, Mike, do you have any plans on going to visit any new places for 2019? Okay, new places for 2019. I'm trying to think. Because we already have, we're going to be at some of Kelly McCarville's events here in the spring, and so I have not been to the ones in Waterloo and ones in Davenport, Iowa. So I've not been to those places.
Iowa. Oh my God. Iowa.
Shauna in Iowa. Our last adventure to Iowa. Oh,
now, I'm telling you now.
Be nice. We have many people from Iowa watching.
That was...
It was a crazy trip.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, the fact that Google was telling us, you know, we put in the quickest route to Google.
Asshole.
Well, they're like, this is the quickest route. We didn't know there were like dirt roads and
Oh my
shit.
God. And not only was there this dirt roads, but it was the pitch black. Like the only light that we had was from our headlights.
Yeah.
And it was pouring rain. And when I say pouring, I mean there was danger of roads washing out.
Yeah.
And this quick route, it was 5 o'clock in the morning by the time we
finally got there
to the hotel. And I didn't even know.
Well, you could say 5 in the morning, but we
here.
did spend probably like 2 hours talking with the Southern Gypsies out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that was the bright spot of the entire trip. Love the Southern Gypsies.
Because we were like at that gas station, like
At
3
this
in the morning in
gas
the middle of
station,
nowhere.
In the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, with 4 of these, or we have 1, 2, there's 3 of them. Yeah. Of the loudest, sweetest girls I've ever met.
We love the Southern Gypsies. They're awesome.
Yeah, they will be at the Paracon, they said.
Yep, they said they were going to be at the Paracon.
So,
yep.
Yeah, and I don't know if Ken Boggle is watching or not, but I would like
Ken
him
said
to
he would show up.
Yes.
I have to verify that with him.
He better.
Because when we threw it past him, he said, yeah, I'll do it. So we'll have to see.
I was going to say, Mike definitely got to see one of my more grumpier sides during that trip.
Yeah, Kelly
to
McCarville
Iowa.
saying, oh my God, our GPSs were drinking or something. It was the craziest routes. Yeah, it was absolutely nuts when we were out there that night. Maybe it was the electrical storms. I mean, because before it was pouring down rain.
That was some amazing light.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
I'm never lucky enough to capture pictures of lightning, but that night, all you had to do was just hit the button.
Yep.
And it was just boom. It was great. It was great. But I say next time we just take the long route to get back to where we're going, because what a nightmare.
Kelly's saying Waterloo and Dubuque. I hope I'm saying Dubuque right. Dubuque? Is that how you say it? It wasn't. I said Davenport. That's Dubuque. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's got to be better.
Yeah.
And so there, I would also like to schedule something with the Lee Baker Hodges house in Carrollton, which is
Lee
where
Baker
some of
Hodges
these
house.
stories-
Joliet Prison. I know Tom's been trying to get us up there. So yeah, we'll definitely get some newer places in. Our first investigation of the year is weather permitting, that we could drive out there and it's not stupid crazy snowing or something, and we hope to go live from there. We have gone live from there before, and that's Charleston Hospital in Charleston, Illinois.
That place was pretty interesting. Something had grabbed me was it the boiler room?
It was the boiler room. Yeah, that was
boiler
after
room.
Spook Show Con, Tom McNicholas.
And asked, did live, did the Burst TVP session ask, did someone touch me? Yes. On the live captured, someone saying, yeah, that was me, I did that. So, okay. So definitely, want to go back in there for sure. It was pretty interesting. I think it would be a little bit different going in there without.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did that on it was a paranormal, it was a public paranormal investigation. Yeah. So we had some idiots that were in there early on that were trying to scare us. Like, we'll walk into this, we knew they were down there, and we were waiting for them to come out because we were going to go down there and do a little filming. And so we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're fine, okay, we're going to go down there and find these guys, figure out what the heck's going on. So I take a step into the boiler room, because it was like the first room that you come to on the right. And the guy threw, I think it was a dustpan. He throws a dustpan at my feet, thinking I'm going to jump and get scared. And I'm just looking down, and I was like, what did I say? You're going to have to try harder than that dude or something. And he's like, that didn't scare you? No.
It's like, no, you idiot.
No, and I chewed him out too. What the heck did I say?
I don't know, but he
I
wasn't
can't
looking
remember.
anybody in the eye, and they were single file marching out of there.
Yeah, they ended up getting up out of there. So we had to wait for the public investigation to get done. That was Spook Show Con, Charleston Hospital. We'll be doing that January 5th. Yep. So it's been an interesting year for sure. There was some talk in there about Quad City Expo. Sure, get us some information on that, and we would be happy to go. So Adam Tillery says, always rains on the way to Iowa on an investigation trip. Ask Katie Hopkins. Happens every time.
Well, nice. That trip to Iowa that was definitely no exception.
Yeah.
There was definitely enough rain that night.
Yep. So, Dustin says, you were pissed, Mike. Yeah, I was pissed. I mean, they were being assholes. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, they paid to get in there as a public investigation. You kind of expect that, you know, some stupid stuff is going to happen. But, I mean, he's throwing something at me. You know, and no, he wasn't trying to hit me, but still, it was ridiculous.
Accidents happen.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry I hit you in the face with that. I threw something. I was aiming for your feet.
Yeah,
I was hoping to scare you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was pretty stern with him. It's like, no, get up out of here. So yeah, it's been an interesting year. There was, let's see, I had Ocean State Paracon in the middle of the summer. There's the old Licking County Jail investigation. A lot of good stuff. St. Joe's. Let's see. Well, you weren't there for that, but that was the Tom McNicholas was there for that. And what else was there? So just a lot of good stuff throughout the entire year. It was a really busy 2018. We had a lot of stuff going on. We each had surgery.
Yeah.
This past year, we had matching gallbladder surgeries. Go figure that.
Yeah. That's not exactly the kind of surprise, you know, that you hope for.
Yeah. Betty Lange, Mike and Shana, do you use less equipment as you investigate more? You know, sort of. I mean, I think we've acquired more equipment, but we've become pretty selective as to what of that equipment that we use. You know, and we try different things. You know, we have the SLS camera, which is, I mean, that was another great one, 217 Terror Haunted House, where we got that. I mean, somebody was in the room with us.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
You know, we always have a way to record things as they happen. We always have a way, you know, to capture audio. We always have a way to capture video. We always have those basic
Yeah, those are our
staples.
mainstays. Yep.
You know, I always carry crystals with me. We always carry a K2. You know, but there's...
I wouldn't say always.
Yeah.
It's in the bag.
It's there, but
it's
it doesn't
in the
always
bag.
come out,
Yeah.
you know. But then there's a lot of stuff that we don't use. So, you know, I don't think that all the bells and whistles are necessary.
Right.
You know, sometimes your body just knows. And if you do things the right way and you approach them the right way, they will let you know.
Yep. Katie Palmer, will you ever come to Kentucky? I'm up for Kentucky. I mean, I haven't investigated there in 8.5 years, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in Kentucky, actually. You know, we had Stephanie Bingham on. She was talking about different haunted distilleries, which is cool. Of course, there's Waverly. When I investigated out there, it was Lakeview, which is around the Louisville area. Yeah, that was that creepy haunted cave. Well, they had there was an old mass grave site. There's the site where the building had been, and then down the hill from that is the cave where they used to keep the bodies. And the very first story of Campfire Tales Midwest, all of the stories in Campfire Tales Midwest, even though they're fictional tales, they're based on real history and legends. So that very first one gives the backstory and history of Lakeview, and the kids that are in that actually go into the cave, and the EVPs that I say that are captured within that cave are actual EVPs that we captured that night that we investigated there. So where you know, basically you got this cave, and you got like this little river creek thing that goes, you know, up the hill. I mean, it's coming down from the hill, but you know, it goes off into this hole that's up there. You know, you could crawl into it, but nobody was willing to crawl into it. We got the EVP when we were right there by the water. Again, by the water. You know, that says go deep. Like, okay. So, you know, we got as far as that that hole that goes up in there. It's kind of almost like a little trough thing that came down and then out into the lake. And you know, the EVP there was go deeper. It's like, no, we're not crawling up in there. But in the story for Campfire Tales Midwest, I have them crawl up into it. So it's kind of like, okay, what if? You know, what would have happened if we crawled up in there? So.
Choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, yeah.
I love those. I loved those books. I had a bunch of those. I loved those.
Oh yeah. No, I had a big collection of those. So Christine Joes, come to Florida, Key West.
I mean,
Go visit Robert the Doll.
Yeah, I mean, I would love nothing like little vitamin C.
Ghosty, not this particular one, but Ghosty has been to that most southern point of the U.S. down there.
He gets around more than we do.
He does. He does. All right. So from Betty Lange, Shana, have you ever had your hair pulled?
Yes. I've had my hair pulled. I've had it, touched. I've been petted. But yeah, I've definitely had it pulled several times over the years. So, yeah, I mean, most of it happened at the cafe, actually. There was a lot of that going on there.
Okay, so Andrew Cox, have the toys moved since I left them there for Cassie? So that would be Mineral Springs in the pool. I don't know. I mean, stuff gets moved around down there all the time, but that's usually from investigators just moving things around and setting up things the way that. And there's so many people in and out of there.
Going to be painting dolls this year.
Yeah. Mr. Tweaky says, I've always been curious to why nobody wears earbuds to listen through their recorder while recording to hear in real time.
I mean, use real-time audio.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that before. I haven't done it for a while, but you know who's one that does that a lot? Sean Gilmore. You'll see him a lot. He'll not just the earbuds, he'll have like the whole full-blown, headset.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty cool stuff happening in real time using real-time audio.
Yeah.
With the earbuds. I mean, you crank that thing up and you can hear a spirit thinking on the next level. I mean, those things are sensitive. And yeah.
So Judy Wilson, I'd love it if you could check out the Bell Witch. Is she real or not? Interesting.
That's in Tennessee.
That's in Tennessee. Yep. I have not been to the Bell Witch Cave. So, well, yeah. I mean, the big question with the Bell Witch is, okay, is the haunting there from Kate Batts, who is the quote unquote witch that conjured up the spirit, or is it the spirit that's actually doing the haunting? So, jury's out on that. So did we establish down there? I saw some more stuff in there about Quad Cities. Did we establish yet that Shauna and I were going to be at Quad Cities? Is that a done deal? So I hear a demon. I heard a demon.
Yeah, expect the compilation video.
There is
going to
be a compilation video at some point. Shauna's demon stomach.
It's going to be similar to the Buzz video, which I still haven't kicked your ass for yet.
Yep. Mr. Tweaky says, I always see people ask questions and record and then play back. Well, like when we're doing a live video, that's kind of the...
call those the burst EVP
Yeah, the burst
sessions.
EVPs. And, when you're going live, it's kind of the better way to present it to the viewers. So,
yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
Every live. If we have a signal to go live, you can bet that we're going to do a question and answer on the spot and then play it back so that everybody else can hear if we caught anything. And a lot of times we catch something,
Yep.
And so, that's why I like lives, is because not only, do we get the chance to show people where we're going and what we're doing when they can't be there, but sometimes they see stuff that we don't see because we're busy looking in one direction. They're watching other, stuff going on. So, yeah, I love lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can expect more lives from us. The issue that we always have is, finding a good internet connection, because some of the places that we try to investigate, they're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, or the data access is limited. Like when we tried to do Cheney Mansion, it's like, okay, there was a signal, but it was bad.
217 Terror.
Yeah, well, there's nothing out there.
Yeah,
it's in the middle of nowhere. So, so we try to do as much as we can. Now, when we did the YMCA building, it was great. Where's another? Vandalia works out fairly well.
Gotta go back there.
Yeah. So, we did do Vandalia earlier this year. So that was another one, talking about Haunted 2018, going back to Vandalia, where we got both responses from the boy downstairs and the boy upstairs. Both of them. Yep. We got a name for one of them, too.
Andy. Yeah. But then, confirmation that, my boy upstairs, yeah, I'm here. You know, oh, I love that place so much. Definitely going back there.
Amy Bingenheimer, we can follow HRM like groupies. That's funny. Okay, Kelly McCarville, November 16th and 17th. That's what you're saying the Quad Cities Expo is? Okay, that's fine. We can do that. Usually middle of November, we don't have much going on anyway. The Haglin says, you guys need to quit your jobs and come west for a few months. Hit all the great places in Nevada and California. That's fantastic if you could pay our salaries. We'd do it.
Right. Because that's the problem.
That's
the problem.
Of course, the first thing we need to do is replace that.
Replace that.
But yeah, I mean, if somebody's willing to pay our salaries to do that, we're all for it. That's what keeps us from doing stuff like that.
Right. Like, you know, I work where I'm working long enough, I'll get a week off paid. So that would be how that happens. I can offer a week, but got to rack those points up, you know.
Yeah.
Rack those days up. I have 2 teenage boys, and I don't really know that I would want to leave alone for an entire week. So
there's that too. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my boys is going to turn 18 this next week. Oh, no. No, wait a minute. What's today? Today is...
He's turning on Saturday.
Yeah,
less than a week.
Saturday.
Yep.
18. Oh, my God.
Yep. Go figure that.
No.
All right. All right. So, well, we've been going a while now, and there's a lot that happened in 2018. So, but I think we covered some of the big highlights. And things like, it sounds like we're establishing more things for 2019, which is fantastic.
It's good to think ahead. Good to have
It's
goals.
great to think ahead. Tim Schoen, please let the Quad City Expo be a done deal. My ticket will be sold. Okay, well, if we're saying that that's what's happening November 16th and 17th of this coming year, 2019, okay, we're in. We're in.
Okay.
Just
I'll
as
go
long
ahead
as
and ask
long
off
as
in
like
advance.
Kelly says yes, then we're in. Betty says you moved, Mike. Yeah, I did. That happened too. Yeah, that was a big deal this past year. Yeah, surgery, Paracon, move, boom, boom, boom. Oh, and I helped my parents move in there too. So, because yeah, they moved their stuff out of their place in June. They finally moved in their new house the beginning of this month. So, yeah, there's all that too. Yep, it was back in July, Andrew. Yes. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it.
Yeah. Gotta get up early.
Yeah, Shana has to get up early. I've got to take care of all the post-show stuff with the 2 streams that we just did. But you know what? It's been a great 2018. We really appreciate all of you coming out here to support us, you know, to watch, to share everything out, which is so important when you guys share everything out. The super chats that a lot of you guys have thrown down, the Patreon patrons, all of that fantastic stuff. Judy says you need to get an RV and travel all around.
I did say I wanted to get one of those buses and like...
Just leave it. Just leave it.
Yeah. Get one of those buses and like hollow it out and put like a command center, a studio in there, a sleeping area, a little bit of dining area. They can really do some amazing things with those buses.
They can.
I'm telling you.
Tom McNicholas says, enjoyed having you guys at my events. Yeah, so we had the that was the Spook Show Con and then the Afterlife Con at the beginning of October. So those are fun. We had Ashmore again there. Well, we went to Ashmore Estates for the first time this past year,
and then we
hit the cemetery, Ashmore Cemetery at the Creepy Tree Portal. Yeah, so there was. I mean, we did a lot this year.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yep. Christine Jones, how many years have Mike and Shana been together? Almost 3. It'll be 3 at the end of February. Yep. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. That's really what I want to say. Just thank you guys so much. It's been a fantastic year. There's a lot of things ahead that we're going to be doing, that we're up to, that are going to be coming out here, you know, just after the new year. We still have a couple things coming up here this year. So there will be a Friday Night Ghost Rights coming up on Friday. And then the week after, we will have a year in review video with, you know, a bunch of clips and highlights and all that stuff. usually working some previously unreleased stuff in there as well. So we'll have plenty of that to come. There's full paranormal investigation videos that we still haven't even released yet that we did in 2018 that we will get to. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. And then, of course, events and whatnot. But you guys have been fantastic. All the support that you guys have shown. We love you. And, we wouldn't be able to do all the things that we do without you guys, without your support. And so we greatly, greatly appreciate it. And, we always say that you guys are like another set of eyes and ears on a lot of the investigations, like the live streams and all of that, which you guys are, but you're also like family too. We come out here and it's like we're talking to our family. We're talking to our good friends out here all the time when we go live and we do this. And, we hope that, we learn a lot from you guys, and we hope that you're learning, some different things from us too. It's kind of like that shared, information back and forth. And so, between these live streams, the investigation videos, the Friday night ghost frights with the ghost stories and legends and all that stuff, we hope that there's, stuff like the Lost Cemetery videos. We hope that there's a lot of sharing back and forth, and that we're all, learning from this shared experience together.
The Encounters books too.
The Encounters books too. Yeah,
that's where you guys help the most with that.
Yep.
If we didn't have the submissions, we wouldn't have the Encounters books.
Yeah.
And so those happen because of you.
Yep. And those help. Those historic venues that are featured there, and then people that come along and read those books relate to those experiences that you shared, because everybody's had all these different experiences, and there's a lot of people out there that are hesitant to admit, well, I've had a paranormal experience, or are unsure of what they've of what's happened to them, or they're scared to reveal whatever, and they read those stories and they're like, I'm not crazy. I don't know how many people I've had come to me over the years say, thank you for doing this, thank you for sharing that, or I read this book, and thank you for helping me realize I'm not crazy. And so that's a big part of those Encounters books. Yep. And those are in large part because of you guys, with all the submissions that you guys have sent in. So yes, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you, and Happy New Year. Judy says, sending healing blessings to Rita and Donna. Thank you very much for that.
Very much.
All right, so let's go ahead and get out to the last shout outs of the year. All right.
Time for you lurkers to come forward.
Yep. Tillery. All right, so do we have any super chat superstars? No, not for, we had that in the Edge of the Rabbit Hole. So, all right. So we have Tom McNicholas down there. Thank you very much, Tom, for a great year. Tracy Christian, thank you as well. There's Tim Schoen. Thank you as well. Sharon Lane, thank you for all of your support. Sharon binge watches like all the time. She'll comment on some video from like 3 years ago. It's like awesome. I love it. There's Betty Lange. Betty's always, retweeting our stuff out on Twitter. So it's like Fran Molino does that. Chuck Banks does that. A lot of people do. So we really appreciate it. Kelly McCarville, she's been retweeting our stuff out there. So we love Kelly. Not just because of that, but Andrew Cox, thank you very much. One of our Deep Down the Rabbit Hole Patreon patrons. Can't say enough about them. They've helped, been a big support, the Patreon patrons. Patreon.com/HauntedRoadMedia. But yeah, so there's Tom McNicholas, B3 Aerospace, Zippy Davis, BD Flint, Andrew Cox, Pamela Queen, and Joe Chandler. You guys are awesome. So
the Patreon people, they're the ones that saw the Buzz video, right?
All the Patreon patrons saw the Buzz video.
Yeah, gosh.
So, and that would be everybody. That would be everybody that's a Patreon patron. So like the $1, even the $1 level, I made it accessible to.
Wow, tell me what you thought, because I'd love to hear about it. It was done without my consent.
I sent it to you. You laughed.
I got to see it.
You laughed.
I didn't realize it was gonna. I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Hey, you saw it before I actually posted it there.
I didn't realize you were serious about it going there. Guess I should just be grateful it's not on YouTube.
Who says it's not gonna be? Buzz. Oh, okay. Buzz. Okay. Buzz.
Shut up. And then he showed my kids.
I did too.
And they were like, well, okay,
we thought it was
Mom.
weird.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. Okay, so let's see. More shout outs. Christine Jones, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Judy Wilson, thanks for all the questions tonight. Here's Katie Palmer. Thank you very much, Katie. A lot of you have hung out for both shows, so we really do appreciate that. Jill Nimchinsky, thank you very much. Amy Bingenheimer, thank you for joining us this evening. Appreciate that. Oh, and the other thing, we're almost up to 10,000 subscribers. So we're probably not going to make that by the end of the year just because it always slows down here the last couple weeks of the season. So we really needed to have made a big push at the end of November, beginning of December, which didn't necessarily happen, which is okay. Well, we know in the first couple weeks of January it'll happen, and we will have a big giveaway for that. So if you want that big giveaway sooner, share stuff out, which we know you will. Let's see. There's the Haglin. Good to see you, Haglin. Thanks for joining us tonight. Pat Kraft, thanks for joining us again. Let's see who else. I guess I'll have to scroll back.
There's a lot of people.
There were. All right. Yeah, there's Tillery. Hey, Adam Tillery. Good to see you. Always good to see Adam down there. There's Greg Rinkin. You know, Adam was probably watching Oak Island tonight, so that'll be my tomorrow. Let's see if there's anybody else. Sean Oldsmith, hey, good to see you, Sean Oldsmith down there from Australia. Haglin says, all of you, Mike, Shauna, Vanessa, and Donna, thank you for what you do and taking the time out of your lives to share with us. Merry Christmas and have the happiest New Year's. Thank you. And Mr. Tweaky, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Oh, it's good to see some new faces in the house. All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up. If we didn't mention your name, we do apologize. We try to get everyone. Sometimes we miss some people. And it's late, and we're tired, and we're wrapping it up. All right. Tillery says, you better believe it. Well, shh, don't spoil it for me. Tim shown HRM books or my version of Pokemon. Got to catch them all.
That's funny.
That's awesome. All right, everybody. Have a very fantastic holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2019. We'll probably go live on Facebook at some point just to do a little wrap up or whatever. So, but this is it for the Inside the Upside Down and Edge of the Rabbit Hole for 2018. So it's been great, everybody, and we will see you on the flip side. Till next time.